Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, my my YouTube friends. This is once again John, and I'm just recording from my house in the library where all the crested geckos live. This video is going to be a little bit about crested geckos and how they live and what they do and don't do and what you can do and what you can't do. Just a little bit about them. This is my I guess you'd call her orange, maybe yellow, I don't know. She looks orange to me, but anyways, she's a juvenile. And when I got her, the guy that I got her from said that he had her for a year, and she was only like 8 or 9 grams. So to me, that tells me he wasn't doing something right, because at a year they should be at least 20, 25, 30 grams. And once again, crested geckos are one of those geckos that, they're very hardy. They eat very well. You put a lot of food in front of them and they're going to eat it. But they don't eat a whole lot of food. They eat about as much as the size of their head. One thing I could tell you about crested geckos is they are very jumpy. You can see she's not too bad because I play with her all the time. Crested geckos, their humidity and their living requirements aren't as bad as you would think they are. They can actually live in quite a small area. They don't have to have a big humongous area to live in. I know a lot of people will say 12 by 12 by 18 or an 18 by 18 by 24 Exoterra or a Zoom Ed. I raise mine up in shoe boxes until they get to be almost adults, to at least like she is right around 20 grams right now. So within the next 4 or 5 months I'll move her up to a 12 by 12 by 24. But right now she's in a shoebox container, and that's how I raise my babies all the way up to my juveniles. And then once they get to be adults, then I move them into a 12 by 12 by 24. They don't require a whole lot of space. They need a lot of places to hide. So I have egg crate containers in there and bushes and just things that they can hide in. One thing that crested geckos do need is they need a lot of hydration. They can't get any water from anything other than what you give them, because they don't get it from, they get a little bit from food, but they don't get a whole lot otherwise. So you have to spray down their container, their enclosure, whatever you have them in. I do it 3 times a day. Some people would say that's probably a little bit too much, but they're always hydrated. And then you have to give them bugs at least once a week, twice a week, or 3 times a week would be ideal. Usually it's every other feeding for me. When my crested geckos are babies, I feed them every day, every other day, and they seem to eat well. And then once they get to be a little bit older, then I go to every other day or every 3 days, and that works out well for me and my crested geckos. Another thing that you can house them together. They don't have to be housed separately. As long as they're all females, they can be housed together. But then again, until they're 20 grams, at least 20 grams, you don't even know if they're females or not. They could be males, they could be females, but they know what they are. And if you put them in too soon together, then they're not gonna respond well. They're gonna fight, and then you're gonna find out that you're gonna have a mess on your hands. Give me just a second. I'm gonna grab one of the other adults that I have. This one, right here is one of my adult female harlequins, and she's a big girl. She's pushing 50 grams. And you want the girls at least 45 grams. In order to breed them. You can breed them smaller, but they're not always. You don't want them to be smaller when you're breeding them. You want to breed them at the highest and the biggest temperature, or the biggest, weight that you can get them. Some of my girls are 30 grams, 35 grams, 40 grams, and they will lose weight as you're breeding them. But then as you breed them, you need to make sure that you give them enough nutrients and things to supplement, because they have inside their mouth, I don't know if I can do it now because she's already, you can't see it right now, but anyways, they've got these little calcium sacs in the back of their throat. And what happens is when they lose calcium, they can't produce babies as well as they could if they did have calcium sacs. So you want to make sure you give them a lot of repticalcium, calcium with D3. You mix that in with their food, and they it's not, they don't taste it. They just, they put it together. And another thing I do is I put honey in mine. Pure honey. It has to be 100% pure honey. Helps them eat. And I don't know, I mean, there's a lot more to say about crested geckos. A lot more, but my mind's drawing a blank right now. If there's anything else that you want to know about or you want to see, please leave me a like or a comment, subscribe, and then we'll go from there as far as what the next video is going to be. I have some lychees, I have some Saracenorum. Just tell me what you guys want to see, what you guys want to know about, and we'll just talk about it. And if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to reach out to me, comment, subscribe, any way you can. Just go ahead and get in touch with me, and